All right, y'all, let's take a look at this latest video from Patrick CC. Another incredible. He does a lot of video essay style content on YouTube. Sub to his channel, Patrick CC. This one he just dropped called Rappers Who Could Have Easily Prevented Their Downfall. I saw Chance in here. I'm from Chicago. For those of you that may not know my background, since 05, I had my career in radio and hip hop in Chicago here. #1 radio show on WGCI in Chicago for over a decade, and mixtapes. Like, you know, I don't even like to talk about it because I don't feel like I'm gassing myself up, but I did a lot, and I did a lot for Chicago music specifically. I gave the people Chief Keef, Lil Durk, Chance, G Herbo, Bibby, all the Chicago artists that y'all know about. I played a part in their success early on. So I want to see what this has to say about rappers who could have prevented the downfall, and maybe share my thoughts on what's going on here with them.
A successful rap career is extremely hard to obtain, yet very easy to destroy. One mistake, one bad album, one tweet could start a ripple effect that leads a rapper to fade into irrelevance. Today we are going to look at the stories of rappers whose careers dwindled for reasons they likely could have prevented. Starting with superstar Pride, a rapper who had the fastest and most ironic rise and fall of all time. Many of you heard Superstar Pride briefly in 2023 when his song Painting Pictures went viral. However, it wasn't necessarily viral for the song, but rather his obscure mullet-style haircut. The crazy part about this track is that it was originally uploaded in 2020 and went unnoticed.
And mama, don't worry, you raised the...
Then 2 years later, when he uploaded the live mic performance video to Painting Pictures, it also fell on deaf ears. It wasn't until 5 months after the music video dropped, February of 2023, that Pride casually created a TikTok, posted the music video snippet, and it blew up. The first clip he posted got 10 million views. The second one did over 40 million views. Bro got the Sonic haircut. Bro looked like he got screamed at. Bro's haircut was 50% off. Nobody was talking about the song, just his hair. Then a viral trend emerged of people imitating his video with something ridiculous taped to the back of their head, which could not be outdone when someone managed to get an entire airplane strapped.
I saw that one. I forgot about this one. I saw this one. I laughed so hard. I saw this, but this is when I was still getting my feet situated on my funny TikTok and Reel reaction videos. I never reacted to this one, but I saw this. This one was like, bravo. This one was like straight up bravo when he did the airplane, bro. Nobody could defeat him with this one. No one.
To their head. The opening line, "Mama Don't Worry," was also getting stuck in people's heads, which led to the song amassing 160 million streams on Spotify and over 30 million on YouTube. Painting Pictures shot up to number 25 on the Billboard Hot 100, and every major label got into a bidding war trying to sign him, but he sided with Steve Stout and his independent structured music label, United Masters.
Okay. And he wanted like $5 million from a label, and when they didn't give him $5 million, they were offering him $3 million. He's like, if it ain't 5, I'm not signing it. I'm like, what?
Pride let his ego.
That's crazy, because you got nothing to back up that demand for 5. On top of that, that $3 million is recoupable. You like, oh, don't get me started on the back end of this business stuff that so many of these artists make a huge mistake. Oh, you want 3? They'll give it to you up front, but guess what? Now you're indebted to them until they recoup every dollar.
Get the best of him, refusing $3 million for wanting $5 million. 3 weeks after refusing the record deal, he was arrested for murder.
A Mississippi rapper is charged with murder.
I didn't know this.
In Genola County, 20-year-old Kadarius Pride, known as Superstar Pride.
The victim, Marcus Wheatley, was Pride's barber, likely responsible for his signature hairstyle.
So he shot him up for the 50-50 cut? I guess I understand why he did. I'm sorry. Oh my God, that's bad.
Wheatley's grandmother said Pride stormed into their house and gunned him down in the backyard. Currently, Pride is being held without bond and doesn't have a trial set. Nobody knows what happened or why it happened. But a rapper going viral for his ridiculous haircut in February, then allegedly murdering his barber a few months later after denying $3 million is the most insane self-sabotage I have ever seen. And if you thought Pride's story was a poetically ironic form of self-sabotage, meet Chance the Rapper.
Oh no, not Chance. Is he gonna go in on Chano? Oh, I got to see what he has to say here, because I know Chance. You know what I'm saying? I know Chance and his brother Taylor. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be interesting. There's been so much talk about Chance when he first came into the industry that he's a plant. I'm gonna talk about it at the end of whatever. At the end of him talking about Chance here, about this, because there's a very interesting thing about it that I don't think the general public knows about Chance.
Who once famously said, "I met Kanye West, I am never going to fail," but still managed to fail. Chance the Rapper's 2013 mixtape, Acid Rap, was universally praised by hip-hop fans.
Incredible.
His raspy voice and sprinkle of soul, combined with his youthful, positive energy, made this project a masterpiece. Tracks like Cocoa Butter Kisses and Favorite Song have aged like fine wine. But Chance was in no rush to capitalize on his buzz. He worked on his next mixtape for 3 years. He had the whole city of Chicago rooting for him and garnered support from the biggest artists in the world.
When I tell you Chance had Chicago on lock, when I tell you that boy could do whatever he wanted in Chicago, in my city, you know what I'm saying? He could do whatever he wanted, whatever he wanted. That's how big he was here in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Arguably bigger than Kanye at the time of all this happening.
World, including Kanye West, who featured Chance on his 2016 album, The Life of Pablo. Chance's part on Ultralight Beam is one of the biggest highlights of the project. Coloring Book was his 2016 mixtape that served as the perfect follow-up to Acid Rap. Chance's cadence, soulful lyrics, and euphoric beat selection was unlike anyone else in hip-hop at the time, especially on tracks No Problem and All We Got. He earned a Grammy for Best New Artist, and some people even believed he could give Drake a run for his money, but then he blew it. And I'm gonna blow you away when you hear about today's sponsor.
Not Taylor. What did Taylor do? He got, I think he got some stuff. Let's skip ahead a little bit.
Triller to capitalize on the Whoa TikTok song that was heavily marketed on Triller to capitalize on the Whoa DC for a first deposit match up to $100. It makes the NFL even more interesting for me. So rep your team.
Nico,
and
what's up?
With Underdog. Starting with a track
What's up,
called
guy?
Groceries, a corny TikTok song that was heavily marketed on Triller to capitalize on the Whoa dance craze. The song went viral, but when fans criticized it on Twitter, his responses would put a nasty stain on his reputation. People have different tastes and that's fine, but the way you're talking to fans who have been with you since 10 days disappointing, and that ego reflects on the quality of your newest music. Eat it. You are a spoiled child who thinks artists are making music for you. I never intended for you to find or like anything I made. If I knew you existed, I would have tried my hardest to keep you from being able to enjoy it. Now go eat a dick again. Then Chance over and over again told the fan to eat a dick. This interaction was a far cry from the positive and wholesome Chance the Rapper fans loved. Then he dropped his debut album, The Big Day, on July 26, 2019. The Big Day was a reference to his wedding day, which he was planning during the creation of this album. Chance mentions his wife and family over 20 times on the record, which became
It became a meme. Everyone was talking about, I love my wife, I love my wife, I love my wife. It was a meme.
A huge meme.
Yeah.
And while his intentions were pure, the album simply was not good.
I am genuinely feeling like a strong 0 on this record.
Fans hated the project as well, and were quick to let him know. On Twitter, Chance would block anyone who poked fun at him or said anything negative about the album. With the influx of hate, he responded with extreme measures. I'm getting this crazy feeling that people want me to end it. These desperate tweets combined with his lazy album would lead to him canceling his 32-city arena tour, saying that he was instead going to focus on spending time with his family, which again sounds understandable, but it was a lie. The tour was actually canceled due to, quote, historically low ticket sales, according to his now ex-manager Pat Corcoran.
Pat, oh, I remember Pat. I haven't talked to that guy in forever.
Chance fired his manager, then blamed him for fan disappointment in The Big Day and underwhelming fan support for its associated tour.
Here's the thing, man. Pat was with Chance from the beginning, and like Pat from, if I remember correctly, Pat found Chance when Chance was still in high school. He was rocking with Chance when Chance was still in high school when all this started happening. He was with Chance from the beginning, and he rode with him for years. And I do remember this whole controversy happening and hearing through the grapevine that it was because the performance of the ticket sales weren't looking that good. And so they pulled the plug on the tour. He comes out and says, I just want to spend time with my family. You know, now that I'm hearing this again, I'm remembering that time period when all this was kind of going out there. And I remember at the radio station, we was all like, damn, man, like, what's going on? Because it just seemed like there was a disconnect in his camp. Because up to that time, they was running on full cylinders, you know, full cylinders. But whatever transpired here, I remember with Pat being fired and him not being there. I don't remember if I talked to Pat after that happened. I can't remember. I want to say we talked, but it might not have been about Chance, but it turned into a very different thing. I think Pat was super underrated in Chance's success up to that point, because after that, without Pat, he ended up turning to his family and like Taylor, his younger brother, and they were all kind of just doing things. I don't think he brought in a new like manager. I think they were trying to just do it themselves at that point.
Corcoran would go on to file a lawsuit in November of 2020 against Chance the Rapper for breach of contract, stating that he is owed over $2.5 million in reimbursed expenses for supporting and promoting Chance's career. In addition,
yeah, he took care of him early on when they were trying to get off the ground.
$3 million for unpaid commissions and 15% of Chance's net profit across all business earnings. The lawsuit also revealed that Chance started working on his album in February of 2019, which was only 5 months before it was released. His manager knew there was not enough time for the creative process that was involved in releasing an album. Chance's recording efforts were compromised by unproductive and undisciplined studio sessions, procrastination, and lackadaisical effort, which explains why there are terrible lyrics throughout this record. If you blink it, you might miss it. You gotta click it or tick it. Life is short as a midget, but mine's a little LeBron. And how could we forget?
Peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. Peanut butter jelly with a peanut butter jelly. Y'all ain't ready for the jelly, it'll break y'all back.
Chance let his own ego squander his career. He couldn't just admit that he made his fans wait 3 years for a bad album that was rushed out in 5 months. And the way he responded to them on Twitter was just childish. From here, all his hype died. On the other hand, if he stepped out of the limelight to genuinely focus on his family, that's respectable. Maybe that's something we should celebrate rather than see as a downfall. But Chance wasn't the only rapper whose Twitter fingers started their downfall. And
so before we jump into the next one, the thing about Chance though is many people don't know that he comes from a prominent family. His father, Ken, was the deputy, what do you call it? Under Rahm Emanuel, under Mayor Rahm Emanuel, he was the deputy chief of staff, rather, excuse me. He was the chief of staff. So here you have Chance, the son of the chief of staff for the mayor of Chicago. He starts bubbling. He starts popping off, and all of a sudden Chance was able to do things in Chicago that no artist can do. So there was a lot of talks, and people were like, yo, the only reason he's able to do this is because of his dad, who his connections were. He was able to go and perform. He was able to go on top of the L, which, if you don't know what the L is here in Chicago, it's the train that's elevated up high on the tracks and stuff. He was able to like film up there, do all these promotions that like, no one has ever done this before. No other rapper, not Kanye, not Twista, not Common. No one has done these kinds of things that he was doing. And so like there was, he has like the connects. Not saying it's wrong, just saying like he had the connects through the family. So he was headlining, festivals and stuff. Like he really had a leg up. And I'm not saying that to take anything away from him, but it certainly helped in his image in Chicago and helped grow him. And the thing with Pat happened since then. Chance has been really quiet, and who knows what's going to happen with that. All it takes is for one album or one hot song to change all of that opinion, and everyone's back on the Chance fan bus. But I will say that in general, Chance has always received a lot of hate from people at large because of the belief that he's an industry plant. You know what I'm saying? He was able to do all of these things, and people believed like it was an industry plant. It wasn't as independent as he has led it to believe. I can't say for certain whether one way or the other. I can see how people can see it and be like, oh, you're just a plant and all this stuff like that. I've been in the studio with Chance. I've seen him work and write and all that stuff. I think he's very capable. Who knows what's going on in his head and where that disconnect is. Sometimes you just need a new team around you to help get you in the right direction. And it definitely seems that once Pat left, the cookies started crumbling. But again, that could change at any moment. It could come back tomorrow with a new hit or a new album or a new EP or a mixtape that just reconnects. I think the best thing Chance can do, and I don't know if you see this or not, but bro, just take it back to the basics. Sometimes that's the best thing you can do whether it's in sports, music, any kind of art. If you feel stuck and you're blocked, just take it back to the basics. By that meaning, just get back to what you loved about it. Keep it simple and have fun. Try and have fun with it again, and that's where the magic can happen. And I would love to see my dog Chance, back up again. You know what I'm saying? I'm always going to support my Chicago artists, man. Even to this day, even though I'm not actively in the music scene like that anymore, I still want to see all my homies thriving. Like I like Lil Durk. I'm so proud of my little bro. I'm telling y'all, I was in the trenches with Durk in the hood, in his apartment. This is when his first son was still a baby. I came over. He had me come over to help him record a track and all that stuff. And I distinctly remember leaving out. He's like, yo, Moon, I appreciate you. He tried to give me some bread for it. And I was like, nah, I don't want your money, bro. You're good. I remember it. He tried to give me money for looking out for him. And I knew at that moment, because I never said I was going to come and do it for no bread. I fuck with him. I saw that I saw Durk was going to be a star, a superstar. And I'm talking about in the hood, in the trenches, before any of this shit took off. I'm like, I know you're going to be a star. I saw what it was. I'm going to come do it off the love, bro. And he offered money. And that's how I knew. I was like, yo, this is a stand-up dude. Because even though I said, I'm just going to come do this shit, I ain't charging for shit, he still offered. I'm like, that says a lot about a person. You know what I'm saying? It says a lot about a person. But I say all that to say, like, hopefully Chance can come back, man. I don't think it's a fall off. I think he's just taking a break. At any point, any of these musicians can come out with a song and it changes the game again. You know what I mean?
In the case of OG Mako, he pretty much forced everyone to hate him because of his tweets. In
Tucky,
2014, OG Mako had a ton of momentum after his song You Guessed It went viral on Vine.
That was a big one.
This track was unlike anything we had ever heard at the time. Before mumble rap took over, we had OG Mako screaming insane ad-libs over the most simplistic, hard-hitting trap beat. He had a darker, more rock-like aesthetic and even called himself not a rapper, but a rock star. The song reached number 90 on the Billboard Hot 100, and he could even be credited with inspiring many rappers after him. It definitely inspired Keith Ape, who just released a track called Itjima that sounded suspiciously similar.
Who is that?
Just listen to them at the same time. OG Mako tweeted, "I'm aware of the Koreans that mocked me and took my sauce. I'm not impressed. I'm not inspired. I think it's kinda lame. To each his own." Mako even accused Beyonce of stealing from him in her 7-Eleven music video. If you look at them side by side, he may have a point, but Mako was developing a reputation of a bitter, egotistical rapper who complains on the internet. He randomly took shots at his collaborators and label mates, the Migos. Mako felt the need to tell everyone that Skippa da Flippa invented the dab dance that the Migos were using in the song Pipe It Up, to which the Migos replied, "The Flippa man is Migo family. OG Mako, let's see you set a trend." Then Mako said, "Half the rap game has already bit one of my flows or ad-libs. Let me see them album sales." Meanwhile, OG Mako has never had a gold album, let alone the dozens of platinum records the Migos have. Then he went after Lil Uzi when XXL tweeted, "Lil Uzi is rap's newest rock star." He tweeted, "Dudes don't just become rock stars. Somebody gotta show you the way. Stop playing with my name," with a picture of Uzi at an OG Mako show on stage behind him. Then Academic said, "You paved the way for Uzi?" Then Mako replied with dozens of tweets over the next hour trying to explain why he is so influential and Uzi was stealing his sauce. He also randomly took shots at Future. I love Future, but I also understand Future has destroyed countless lives by making it cool to be a drug addict. People looking up to loser attitudes because this generation is afraid to strive for anything. It's y'all's fault all this lame ass shit is possible. Again, he may have a point here, but fans replied to Mako calling him a hypocrite since he raps about the same stuff. But Mako claimed he was dumbing down his music to blow up. You guessed it, was not luck. It wasn't an accident. I made the dumbest song I possibly could on a beat full of bass and knew it would blow. I manipulated over 40 million minds and counting based on the exact same principles that I'm preaching.
I didn't know he was talking like this.
Say this. Now, Mako has always made more.
This is like your inner thoughts. Certain things you just can't really say out in the open like that, And now that Patrick is showing all the receipts here, yeah, now this makes sense because it definitely comes off as like, bro, you're doing too much. You know what I mean? Like you're doing way too much. And you're right. In the music game, everyone's biting off each other. They're all jumping on, oh, you got a hit record. If they don't jack the style of the beat and make their version of it, if they don't copy the flow, if they don't emulate the music video that was a hit, like that's just how it is.
Conscious, focused music with substantial lyrics.
Like Jason, Michael, Freddie, and Eddie Amin after your civil syllable war, niggas should have been prepped before.
But a lot of his music was just mediocre, boring trap.
Get the cat, Get the bag, get the bag. Ay, get the cat, get the cat.
Also, if he claims to be such a genius, why wasn't he able to do it again? During his brief moment of popularity, Mako consistently released music on SoundCloud, but nothing sounded anywhere near as innovative, fun, or interesting as you guessed it. His downfall was easily due to dissing rappers for absolutely no reason, non-stop complaining on Twitter, and trying so hard to take credit for the success of anyone else. Was he an innovator? Absolutely. But he spent too much time talking about how influential he was on Twitter rather than trying to create a legacy to maintain his career. But what happens when the reason a rapper blows up is the same exact reason why they had a downfall? On July 26th,
TK, man, this is a big one right here. He came and was locked up immediately.
2016, just a few weeks after his 16th birthday, SoundCloud rapper TK and 5 others conspired to rob a 17-year-old drug dealer, Zachary Belote. The crew broke into the house around 10 p.m., and the robbery went wrong, which led to the drug dealer's friend and roommate, Ethan Walker, being fatally shot. TK admitted during the police interrogation that he was not the shooter, but was there looking for drugs and money. He had been released from custody pending the trial and was placed on house arrest with an ankle monitor. For the next 7 months, TK sat in his room, making music, releasing it on SoundCloud, and built up a following. With no money for a lawyer and quickly approaching the hearing for the murder, TK infamously tweeted that he was tired of house arrest and the police were going to have to hunt him down. While on the run from the police, TK was very active on social media. Fans posted pictures and videos of him in public. But TK and his friends were desperate for money. He robbed a 65-year-old man named Skip Pepe at gunpoint in Arlington's Craven Park.
That's crazy.
He then attempted to rob a cameraman named Mark Anthony Saldivar in a Chick-fil-A parking lot. Mark began screaming for help as he tried to escape. Then TK hit him with the car before getting out, fatally shooting him and driving off. San Antonio police connected TK to the murder due to surveillance footage and posted wanted signs around the city. TK saw this as a marketing opportunity, posting pictures and videos with the wanted sign. He then dropped a song.
Yo, I didn't even know he was doing this. Like, this is actually outlandish. This is like, you're on the run and you're making music while you're on the run is crazy. And you took the wanted sign and took it is like it's a genius cover, but like at the same time, bro, they got you dead to rights. It's just a matter of when they catch up with you. That's I didn't know that was a thing. What's up, Deep? Welcome. It's sad. Nah, this ain't sad, bro. When you're at this level of I don't give a fuck, yeah, you gotta catch the fade. You're out of control.
Called The Race on SoundCloud, which essentially told the story of him being a fugitive, robbing and killing people while on the run from the police. After filming and releasing the music video to The Race, TK was captured by U.S. Marshals in Elizabeth, New Jersey. The shockingly true story led to the 17-year-old exploding in virality. The Race secured hundreds of millions of views on YouTube, reached number 44 on the Billboard Hot 100, and #FreeTK became a movement supported by some of the biggest rappers in the game. He even signed a $700,000 record deal, but none of it mattered because he was behind bars. And in 2019, he was given a 55-year sentence after being found guilty of murder and 3 counts of aggravated robbery. Obviously, TK's downfall could have been prevented if he simply did not commit these heinous acts. But as bad as it sounds, none of us would even know about him if he didn't actually rob and murder people, then make songs about it while mocking the police on the run from the law. Rap fans glamorize this type of behavior because the music is, a lot of the time, violent and derogatory. So if you're gonna rap about it, fans want you to be about it. But the fans won't be the ones sitting in the jail cell. Pooh Shiesty is an example of someone who was heavily rewarded for his violent music. His song Back in Blood, featuring Lil Durk, was essentially a song about killing your enemies. This track would reach number 37 on the Billboard.
It was about getting it back in blood, like retaliating, to be technical. I know, Patrick, you don't know the lingo, but it's okay, my boy, I got you. That was a big hood banger though. Back in Blood was a huge banger in the streets, bro. Huge. Most hated, what's up?
Billboard Hot 100 and secured himself as a promising new talent in hip-hop. But at this peak of his new career, he got arrested. Pooh Shiesty and his crew were at the King of Diamonds strip club in Miami, Florida. Allegedly, Shiesty had money taken from him, which led to major commotion in the club. Security acted accordingly and escorted Pooh Shiesty out of the club, but he forced his way back into the club and accidentally fired a handgun at a working security guard. Pooh Shiesty turned himself in on June 8th, 2021, and had his hearing the following day, where he would be denied bond. He would later be sentenced to 5 years and 3 months in prison on April 20th, 2022. He could have easily just left the club and let others go handle the money situation.
Bro let off one shot. They got him for 5 years. Sheesh, not worth it.
but maybe he felt the need to live up to his Back in Blood lyrics. I got my own fire, don't need security in the club. If you haven't noticed, rappers and shootings seem to be a very common trend that leads to their downfall. Tory Lanez is no different. However,
Tory. Oh, this one right here.
Many people still question if he is actually guilty of being the shooter. In 2020, Tory Lanez was at the peak of his career.
Look, how you gonna still wonder if he's actually guilty? Like, clearly he went before the courts, before a jury, and they found him guilty. That's it. You're guilty, you're guilty. Unless I find it hard to believe that 20 years from now, they go back and they revisit the case and they exonerate him. That doesn't happen often, man. You know what I'm saying?
His feature on Jack Harlow's What's Poppin' reached #2 on the Billboard Hot 100 while objectively
not the free
being
Tory
the best verse. His album, The New Toronto 3, debuted at #2 on the Billboard 200. He broke the record for the most live viewers in an Instagram Live during his quarantine radio show during the pandemic.
Hey, that quarantine radio, though, that was some epic stuff. He was ahead of the pack with all of the quarantine stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was it. He would be on those women and they'd be out there wilding on IG Live. Man's got banned a couple of times because some of the ladies had they nip slips and ass was all in the video. It was a wild time. If you weren't in like hip hop IG and you weren't on this, you ain't know, man. There was some wild shit that Tory, it was big. It kept everyone entertained while everyone was locked down. Anybody else remember this in chat? Y'all gotta wake up.
However, on July 12, 2020, he was arrested on a felony gun charge while out with Megan Thee Stallion after attending a small party at Kylie Jenner's house. The public was also informed that Megan had cut her foot on broken glass. Then 3 days later, she changed her story to say that she was shot in the foot. Then 1 month later, she said this.
Yes, this nigga Tory shot me. You shot me. And you got your publicists and your people going to these blogs lying and shit. Stop lying.
Social media immediately took Megan's side. Tory remained silent about the allegations, but responded with lyrics on his album Daystar. How the fuck you get shot in your foot and don't hit no bones or tendons? How the fuck your team is trying to paint me as a whole menace?
Here's the problem where Tory went wrong, is that he started to fight it back. He started to fight it back and trying to dog her in this, and I think that didn't do well for him at all. I think it just put a bigger target on his back. He handled this wrong from the beginning. Even if he didn't do it, he could have handled this way better by just doing a press statement, and do that shit like the official way, and not run to music to take shots at her. No pun intended. Because then the optics are just so much worse, and I think that played a big part in this whole situation and how the public perceived it. By and large, most people were riding with Meg and believed, what she was saying about it.
Delusional, like how that 1942 from Kylie house still got
Tory had it lit,
crazy, as well as also rapping about why he hasn't been nearly as vocal as Meg. Think I'm finna talk about an open case for some likes? Tory Lanez was charged with 1 count of assault with a semi-automatic firearm and 1 count of carrying a loaded, unregistered firearm in October of 2020. Although Tory claimed he was being blackballed by the music industry, his career continued to thrive. He released 4 albums independently, which would all garner hundreds of millions of streams.
That boy was working as if he knew the day was coming. He had to put out this music. I gotta generate revenue while I'm locked up.
Received praise from LeBron James as well as dozens of other mainstream acts. Fans believed if it wasn't for this case, he would have been toe-to-toe with the biggest rappers in the game. But once we finally got the information from this trial, we would end up with more questions than answers. On July 12, 2020, Tory Lanez, his bodyguard Megan Thee Stallion, and her friend Kelsey Harris were attending a small gathering at Kylie Jenner's house. Megan testified that she lied to the police about the glass, lied to doctors, and basically lied about the entire situation out of fear. Her new story was pretty simple. She said that they had an argument, she exited the car, Tory leaned out of the passenger side door, said, "Dance, bitch," and shot her from 25 feet away in the back of the foot. Then Tory ran up to her apologizing, and she got back into the car so they could give her a ride home. The cops arrived when the neighbors reported the gunshots. Tory chose not to testify and defend himself, which he would later regret. Kelsey, Meg's friend, testified that Tory was trying to hook up with Kylie Jenner and Meg tried to convince him to leave the house. Meg was upset that Tori didn't want to leave, so she got into the car with Kelsey and drove almost all the way home before realizing she forgot her slipper and went back to Kylie's. They grabbed Tori the second time after Kylie allegedly told them to leave. In the car is when Tori admitted that he and Megan had been in a romantic relationship. Kelsey was shocked because Megan was the one who hooked up Tori and Kelsey in the first place. Kelsey also admitted that this was not the first time Meg had backdoored her when it came to men. Now we have a love triangle. And this is how the argument started.
Messy.
But Kelsey pleaded the fifth when it came to speaking about anything regarding the gun or shooting. The government offered her immunity, so she couldn't be charged with any crime even if she admitted to it. She still refused to speak. There was one witness, Sean Kelly, who saw the altercation from his balcony after being awoken by the arguing. Sean said he witnessed Kelsey get out from the back seat, open the front passenger door, and start physically fighting Megan in the front seat. He also said that the muzzle flash from the gun was closest to Kelsey. Much of his testimony was ignored because he couldn't identify the people by name since it was dark. He only said big man, small man, and 2 women. Nobody admitted to hearing the words dance bitch besides Megan. There was gunshot residue on Kelsey's hands and Tori's hands. Also after this night, Kelsey and Megan stopped being friends after being best friends for 7 years. When Tori was initially jailed, he called Kelsey and apologized multiple times to her. I know she's probably never ever gonna talk to me ever again, but bruh, I just want you to know, I was just so drunk. I don't even...
This whole line that they caught on audio did not look good either. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like an omission of guilt. She left her slipper on, now she's Cinderella? I don't know. I said it once, said again, free Tori. Okay, all right. Chill out. He will be free, guys, in 7 years. How long is he locked up for? He'll be free. Don't worry about it. He'll come out.
Know what was going on.
And then I think they're going to deport his ass because now that he's I don't know if that's a felony charge, but you know, he's from Canada. He's not a U.S. citizen. So I think they're going to deport his ass.
Or do some shit like that. Regardless, that's not going to make anything right, and that's not going to make my actions
Dallas, what's
right,
up, bro?
But I'm deeply sorry for that. I never even moved like that at all. People speculated Tori was apologizing for sleeping with both of the women and causing chaos. Others see this as an obvious admission of shooting the gun. Some people think it was Kelsey who was angry and shot Megan. Some people think Megan was the one who accidentally shot her own foot. Some people think that Kelsey pleading the fifth was her attempt to try to save both of them. But at the end of the day, the jury decided he was guilty. And because of that, Tori was sentenced to 10 years in prison.
Oh, we got that dime piece. Oof. Yeah, he'll be out. Don't worry, guys. He'll be out. Well, this right here was definitely a really interesting video from Patrick CC covering some of these artists that, come up and fell just as quick in some instances. Pretty wild, man. And the truth is like more artists than not experience this. They'll get one hit, that's why you have the term the one hit wonder. A lot of artists will have like that one hit, especially now when everything is so viral. Everyone gets a viral TikTok hit, but it doesn't equate to longevity as an artist. Few are able to take that one viral TikTok hit and translate it into an entire career. It is extremely difficult. One thing I could tell you about TikTok, this is from somebody that got over 350,000 followers on that platform, right? Is TikTok is a very, like the numbers almost don't even count. And I learned this pretty quickly. So when you look at these creators that have a couple million people following them, this does not imply that they actually have a community. Don't confuse or conflate the two things. You just have a lot of followers that just follow, but it doesn't mean that they are always there, and will show up to whatever it is you're doing or will support whatever you got going on. And that's very different from a lot of artists that you look at Kendrick or Drake or Travis Scott, J. Cole. You might not hear about them as much, but if they pop out with a show tomorrow, it's going to be packed. They have loyal fan bases. Like they have real fans. They have real communities of people that follow what they got going on, will support what they got going on and all this stuff. So it's very hard in today's age with music where everyone is, there's so much out there to consume and people's attention span is so short that to be an artist, the best thing you can do right now is to really lay the foundation to get a core community of people and fans that really rock with you the long way so that you can grow with them and they grow with you. and you add people as you keep growing through your music and releasing projects and all that stuff. Chasing, a lot of people, the mistake right now is that just chasing after a viral hit record. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen videos, like there's that one song by that guy named Amari, whatever, something. It's the Billie Eilish song. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Black Tea, I'm Billie Eilish. It's got the Nori sample, the song. Basically use the same beat for it or whatever. Like that song was all over TikTok for a period of time. He got a deal with Def Jam. And then I saw videos of him performing it live. And you literally would see people would go crazy when the hook comes and they'd sing it along because they know from TikTok. But the minute he got into the verse and the lyrics, no one could understand it. Like no one like knew what he's talking about. Like, well, all right, we're just waiting for the hook again because they don't care. And that's a problem. And you will experience that if you are only chasing a viral TikTok hit. You got to build up your audience, man. More than just the little clip or the hook of whatever song you're trying to put out. You know what I'm saying?